Welcome back to another episode, the final episode of the year for Halftime with K Bizzy. We have a very special one. This one, it was pretty crazy how this happened. I'm just gonna ramble for a minute and yap your ear off. But I saw a notification on the Halftime channel when I opened it up one day to check some analytics out. And I got a very, very interesting notification from an account named Professor. And Professor turned out to be the real Professor. And we ended up getting in touch with him, and he was interested in joining us on the podcast. And this is the final one that we're going to be bringing to you guys. The cherry on the top for 2025. I got to give mega thank you to Professor for, bringing this to life, really. I mean, I didn't even think this episode was a possibility. So we're going to jump right into things. I'm going to stop talking, but first, before we let you go, and I'll catch you on the outro before we wrap things up today, of course, like always, make sure you're liking the video, comment your thoughts below if you were surprised that this episode was happening, and subscribe to the channel, man. Show me a little bit of support. We hit 500 last month, and it meant so much to me. Let's see how quickly we can break to 1K. That would be crazy. But now I'm going to let you guys go, man. We'll catch you on the outro. You guys just enjoy this awesome podcast, and Merry Christmas / Happy New Year. There we go. Beauty. What's up, man?
Nothing, just chilling. Good day, I think. So it's nice. It's nice. Just set up everything. I was traveling, so all of my gear was like in my suitcase, and my suitcase got stuck on a layover. So it was like supposed to be delivered, but then they were like, "Oh, actually, it's in customs, so you need to come to the airport to pick it up." I was like, "Why the fuck is it in customs?" They fucked something up with the tag, and they thought it was coming from somewhere else. So they like scanned my luggage, and they're like, "Oh, you have some gear inside. We Googled it. This is like worth €1,000. It's like a black magic camera and a lens and the thing that I carry around all the time to do podcasts for like wherever." And they thought I brought it from like the US or something, because like within EU there's no customs or tax or whatever. You can just do whatever, right? And there wasn't supposed to be. So I went there. Everything that happened was their fault, but they were still kind of like, "Do you have a receipt for this?" And I actually did. So they just left me alone. But it was a process. So
Jeez.
I just like took it out from the thing right now, put it up, and I'm leaving in like 5 days, so I'll be packing it up in like 3 days. And
damn. Well, I appreciate you doing this even more now, knowing all that. Holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. You do some cool stuff. So I don't know. I think I noticed some of your stuff a while back. Maybe I listened to like one episode like 6 months ago. I saw the Fifth Lauren one.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it because it was 3 hours. So
yeah.
it's one of those. It's like any movie that's like 3 hours. I know. I heard it's good, but it's 3 hours. So I don't know. I don't know if I have the capacity for this.
That was the longest one by far. Like none of them have come close to that one. I just wanted to let him speak because he's a legend, I didn't want to cut him off and be like, okay, anyways, next question.
And you're just like, yeah, I'm calling in sick for work today. I guess I'm not making it.
No, I'm super excited for this, man, and like especially knowing that you're from home soil, being from Toronto, like, dude, hell yeah, love that.
I mean, born in Toronto, can't say I'm from Toronto. I've lived there for 5 years, the first 5 years of my life. Not really, don't have like strong connections, but it's nice to have like a second place to some degree.
Yeah, hell
That's
yeah,
good.
Beauty.
Yeah, I'm free until like I think 6. I'm doing like a mustache masters thing. Darth Mike messaged me about it, so this is my afternoon, doing this and then having some friends over.
Oh, nice.
And having a few beverages, watching a game or whatever. That's the vibe of the day. So you know.
Perfect.
Actually, one thing before we start, I'm gonna swap my batteries for my headphones because I
Okay.
just noticed they're kind of low, so I don't have to do it halfway through. But yeah, I listened to a few episodes recently just because I think it's cool that you interview people that are not really in the spotlight that much. Like obviously you get some players and stuff like that, but I'm more interested in like I don't know, I did the one with the Letify guy. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
what is this guy about? Let's hear some of this story, you know. So that's been cool. So yeah.
No, I appreciate that a lot, man. Especially coming from a guy like yourself. It's I don't know. When I owned a skateboard company a few years ago, and I do a thing on my website called Sunday Spotlight every single Sunday,
Yeah.
and it would be interviewing a skate shop or a professional skateboarder or a company owner, someone who has like roots in the skateboarding industry.
Yeah.
And I would do is kind of like what I'm doing now, but like now I'm just doing like the video format. Before it was all like
Yeah.
typing it out and everything, but especially in the Counter-Strike community, because besides skateboarding, Counter-Strike's like my biggest hobby that I've done it for 10 years, played it for 10 years. So, there's just so many people. I've always wondered to myself, like, I always watch interviews. I've always watched interviews,
Yeah.
and I've always wondered, like, what is this person doing, or how did this company get started? And I'm just a nerd like that. I don't know, but
Yeah.
there's so many people that just don't get the spotlight, and like, I feel like it just like, why is that? It needs to happen.
I mean, I think everyone's just looking for like the big thing that people will, it's going to get 10K, 50K views, and then everyone goes to the big people. And then there's a lot of like smaller stories that are cool, but they don't get the same amount of spotlight. So people get, especially in the current climate of like attention and fucking clicks and likes and views. Everyone just wants like the big thing. But I think as you said, like if you're doing something for like a passion, it can be super beneficial. Like you still have the skate shop. You're still doing this.
No, I put that all aside me a couple years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, but it's a good way to network and get out there and get in touch with people. So it's interviews are a cool thing like that.
So let's start with the most important question. I always start with what's the story on the lore on how you got into playing Counter-Strike back in the
Yeah,
day.
good question. I mean, I'm from the generation of like everyone had Counter-Strike somewhere in their lives, in school, internet cafes, at a friend. There's always Counter-Strike was always around, like since I was, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old. 1.6 over there, playing with bots, in like recess, going to like we had a little internet cafe next to the school, so people just go there and play like Ice World 1v1s for like a while. But for me, it was just a game, and I never really got it. And it always felt like the whole spray pattern and everything just felt nothing really made sense, especially as if you don't know how it works, it felt the worst. And I was just like, okay, it's just a game, whatever. And I think I got really into Counter-Strike like 10, 15 years later when I was like 25,
Oh,
24, something along that time is when I got back into Counter-Strike through like an obscure way as well, because we had like a friend group of like some people we knew each other and online, like mostly met each other online, and then also hung out in real life. And I think we played like fantasy football, and then we were like, okay, let's do some other stuff. And we got like Hamachi. I don't know if you know what this is, but it's like a virtual LAN program. So we could play like Red Alert
oh,
2. So we started
Hamachi!
playing.
Wow.
Yeah, so then we started playing that, and someone was like, "Oh, let's play Diablo." So we play some like Diablo, but that was like it's hard to like, one guy comes in, it's kind of complicated, and someone was like, "Oh, let's play Counter Strike," and then we just someone hosted on their PC the server, and we just played. That guy had 0 ping, everyone else had like 80, and we played like 2v2, 3v3 with some like rules such as no AWP, obviously because it's overpowered. Um, don't shoot people in the back because that's not cool, just like take a fight like a man. And and then we played some stupid maps. There's this map, CS Sauna, which is in 1.6 I think it was like a hostage, and then in Source it was a diffuse map. It was like some obscure map, and that was like the go-to. We played this all the time. It was so stupid but so great. So he just played it for fun for like a few years. Just played it first 1.6, then Source. And then after some time, it was like 2012, 2013. One of our friends, this was like non-Steam versions that we were playing. It's like just, just a copy of Counter-Strike. One of our friends was like, oh, like Global Offensive is out, and there was like a 4-pack that you could buy.
One of these guys
So
here you're talking about?
Oh yeah, no, that's a real, that's actually legit paid Half-Life.
Oh, it
This was
was
just like
before that
down.
even?
This is just illegally downloaded from a
Oh,
torrent. This is just
okay.
that was just what we played for like 3 years. And then someone's
Okay.
like, "Oh, there's Steam." I bought a 4-pack of Global Offensive, and he like distributed to the gang, and then other people got it, and we were like, "Okay, what is this about?" And then I played competitive for the first time, and people are saying stuff like eco round, and I was like, ecology round, like what is this? What is this about? I don't understand anything. But I got hooked quite fast. And it was just like the whole like 5v5 was a completely new thing. Like I knew of esports, but I didn't really know of esports, if that makes sense. Like I played some Unreal Tournament before, and like we had some clan-based stuff going on, but never really got into that whole side of like actually competing in a game until like matchmaking on CSGO in like 2012, 2013. And then off of that also, like I think in the game you had some, like on the side you had some videos from like pro games, like Curse and then NIP stuff, and then I started getting into like, oh, what is this about, and started taking it more and more seriously until most of the people that I played with started hating me because I was tryharding too much. Um, Still friends to this day, but didn't play Counter Strike together for too much longer after that.
Damn.
I was taking it too seriously.
I feel like we've all had our moments like that. You know what I mean? Like, if you get really, really addicted to Counter Strike, it's like, okay, we gotta lock in. Like, start calling strats, learn smoke lineups. You
Yeah,
know how we're gonna buy.
city setups,
Yeah, yeah.
all of these things.
It
Yeah.
happens. It just happens.
So then I found a different group of people and stuff. But that's also where my nickname comes from. So one of my great friends, when I was like, "Okay, guys, we need to do this. We need to do this," and he was like, "Okay, Professor, we need to do this," and he started like making fun of me. And then I was like, "Okay, Le Professeur. This is now my nickname." So he's making fun of me. I'm making fun of myself, and then it just stuck from that. So it's good. I'll see him in like 2 hours,
Oh,
and
nice.
he always loves to make this joke. And whenever he meets like some of my esports friends, he's like, "I made this guy. He wouldn't be here without me," which is somewhat true. He was one of the first guys to push for like playing Counter Strike.
That's awesome, man. That's super cool. Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. Pardon the interruption. I just want to shout out today's sponsor. And this isn't a paid sponsor. This is something that I kind of wanted to do. If you're not aware, CS Joyer makes a Lego Counter-Strike sets. He makes figures. He makes little weapons, keychains, all types of stuff. I mean, look at that. Are you kidding me? It's crazy. Got Miami Daryl, Phoenix Agent, FBI, SAS Agent. We are going to be giving these away. I'm going to put the link to the Twitter giveaway post in the description. I will pin it in the comments as well. Make sure you check it out. Best of luck to anybody that enters. We're going to start 2026 off with a bang. Again, check the description, check the comments for the pinned comment for the Twitter giveaway link, and best of luck to everybody. Let's get back into the episode. And I don't know, man. Yeah, like just going back to the whole like tryharding thing for a minute. Like, it's the name of the game, man. It's the name of the game.
Yeah.
Like, to me, there's like, I like to kind of just chill because I used to get like super in my head about Counter-Strike. Like I'd play,
Yeah.
competitive and like in global offensive. If I got to a point where I would like lose a couple games in a row, and like my day would be ruined. And I got to a point where I'm like, it's just a fucking game. Like I gotta chill. Like I'm not going pro. I'm not playing like super duper high rank. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so nice to go back though and get like a structured 5-stack, coordinating buys, and like, dude, playing like the
Yeah.
chess of Counter-Strike. Oh my god, untouchable feeling.
Yeah, it's I play a lot less now, but I had some games recently which were like even a 3-stack, but like the three of us were like really playing together and being like, okay, let's take mid or whatever, fight mid early. No one's mid. This guy's rotating. New setup. You feel like and it's so easy. It actually makes such a difference. Obviously, you still need to shoot people in the head, but if the team dynamic feels right, you just feel like you're like 3 steps ahead of the guys on the other side, and it's such a joy to play that. Like that's those games are the drug that gets you going in Counter Strike. You're just like, fuck, we're so smart.
Yeah,
We're reading everything. It's amazing, And yeah, the Counter Strike, hell of a drug.
absolutely. Yeah, shit, it's had me addicted for, going on 11 years now. And you've been playing since 1.6, so I mean, you've been in the game for a minute.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is 2012-ish, 2011, 2011. I think we started with like 1.6 stuff, and then since then just like continued playing.
Okay, hell yeah. And the thing that I always find super interesting is like you said that you moved to Europe at 5 years old, I think you said.
Yeah,
So, you definitely got to experience like the whole LAN cafe situation there. I'm
yeah,
26. I got into PC late. I bought my first computer when I was 16, 17 when I got my first job. So I was kind of late to PC gaming. I didn't really know about like local LAN situations.
yeah,
I don't think we had a whole lot, but like in Europe, it's like a different beast. Like I've said it on the show before. When I went to the Copenhagen major, they were asking me, like customs or whatever, like the security officer, like, can I see your
yeah,
passport? What are you doing here? All that jazz. And I'm like, oh, I'm here to see like pro gaming tournament with my friend. I felt like a fucking nerd saying that. She's like,
yeah,
oh, Counter Strike, my kids are going to that. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, it's so big over in Europe. The Prince Stream Lamborghini ads in the airport. I was
yeah.
blown away. Like, how was that
Denmark
growing up?
is Yeah, I mean for Croatia, it's still not that big, but like in the internet cafe thing, it's kind of just a way that people had access to gaming, and I think it was part of it was access to computers, but people generally had PCs. It's more about like quality internet was not that accessible in like 2001 to 2010. It was really not everyone had like a good connection, like dial-ups, ISDN, and stuff like that, which is like not the best. So a lot of people that wanted to play even stuff like World of Warcraft would go to internet cafes, and there was like a famous quotation mark in my village, I want to say, in the place where I was from, that went on for like 10 years, and people play like a shit ton of World of Warcraft, but also like CSGO and some other games that were not CSGO, CS 1.6. And it was just a way to go and play the game and also get out of your parents' hair, just be somewhere else, because like
Get
if
out
you're
of the
playing
house.
games at home, you're playing games all day, it's bad. But if you go outside and you're like, oh, I'm hanging out with friends, and then you just go to internet cafe and it's like whatever, I think it would be like $1 for like half an hour and an hour. It's not too bad. You can afford that.
$1.
Yeah, something
Wow.
like that. It's crazy, like to think of these prices, because now even in Croatia everything's kind of expensive. It's like you can't buy anything. You can't go to a store and buy anything for this price anymore. There's not an item or a service available. It's just not.
Yeah.
Inflation is rough.
It's crazy, man. And back then, I mean, I've had a couple guests on the podcast before that talk about going to LAN cafes, and like, you could go Google photos and like look up videos on YouTube. Like the energy in those venues, they just look so awesome for that era.
It's quite something. It's also like one thing that people today, and especially in Western Europe, will be shocked, but a lot of them had just smoking inside, and people
Oh,
just smoke cigarettes and play,
with all the
and
kids in there and everything.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So it would be, or they have like separate smoking rooms and stuff like that. It would be quite not. It wasn't like, at least the ones that I went to, it was never like a fancy place. It was kind of a shithole. It's kind of like a
damn.
dive bar version of, when you think of a LAN cafe now, or you think of like, oh, Korea or whatever, everything's super, nah, everything's dirty as shit, and it's smoky, and it's like some old dudes. There's like some 60-year-old in the corner like downloading not illegal, but let's say 18 plus materials, and it's just like
Oh my
that's
God.
that's the LAN cafe that I remember from from my youth.
Well, all that
That's the,
cigarette smoke going in the air, that probably explains why we have so many toxic kids in Counter-Strike these days,
yeah.
man. That started fucking with their brain.
But I think from what I know now, like Kosovo, Albania, that's where the LAN cafe culture is still super strong. Oftentimes you play a face it, at least when I played more face it a few years ago, you'd queue a game, you'd get some of these guys, and they'd talk, and you'd hear like a million people in the background, and there'd just be, or sometimes there'd be like a queue of like two or three of them, and they I guess run out of time. And they would just disconnect like at round 25. They run out of credits in the cafe. Now you're like playing 2v5 for the rest of the game. It's
Oh my God.
but yeah, they have a strong, I mean in general, strong CS scene down there. Pretty youthful country.
Beauty. It's just so cool to see the contrast of like, I mean, I wish we just had that kind of love over here in NA. Like the EU scene is just miles ahead. But anyways, like if you look at the past couple decades of Counter-Strike, like from before 1.6 to 1.6, Source, Global Offensive, Counter-Strike 2, the game's evolved so many different times, and each iteration of Counter-Strike has brought something new to the table. And I think it's one of those games that like, I don't really think that you can, kill it. Like it will always just level, be a one up of itself. For a guy like yourself that's been in the industry for so long, like how has it been for you to like you've seen every step of the way for this game
Hmm.
to change so much and the impact that it's had every evolution of the game. So how has that been to kind of see that over the years?
I think like after, I don't know, after Overwatch came out and like kind of went away from like a competitive thing, I just understood that there's no point in worrying about Counter Strike's future. I think that was the last time I was like, oh, this big FPS is coming out, and it's like blah blah, and everyone's hyping it up, and it's Blizzard, and how is that going to affect Counter Strike? And then it didn't really, like everyone that I knew that played Counter Strike played some Overwatch. Then some of them even tried to go pro, came back to Counter Strike within a year,
Damn.
and that just kept happening for like a bunch of games. And I'm just like, yeah, I think we're in a good spot. Everything's good. Like that was the last time when I was like, maybe I need to diversify my portfolio because I've been just into Counter Strike, into nothing else from the esports side. Like I did some writing, so I covered like other games that happened, but not in like, oh, I'm an expert in any degree. Um, and that was whatever 2016, probably 2017, something like that. Got onto HLTV around the same time, and I was just like, yeah, I don't worry about it. It's gonna go its own course. There's literally every time people are like writing it off, the shrouds of the world. Oh, this game is the Counter Strike killer. It's like, okay, how much did you get paid for that?
I know, right? Oh,
So it's in a good spot. It's always evolving, and people complain about so many things that Valve is doing. But I've been, as I said on the podcast many times, I've been Valve pilled. I've been Valve pilled. I believe in everything they do, that it's ultimately going to work. Like obviously not every singular decision, but their general direction and how they approach the game has worked through so many iterations, and different generations of players have been coming in and out. And people can say like, oh yeah, younger players are now playing Fortnite, and that is true, but people are still playing Counter-Strike as well. So what is the problem? We don't need to be that. Doesn't need to be anything else. And yeah, I just have in my head, until the day like Counter-Strike actually dies, I will not be thinking about that anymore.
yeah. And
That's how I feel.
that's the way to do it because like you just said, I don't know, when you look at everything, man, it's like Counter-Strike has had some really weird periods, some really rough times. I don't know how, but it bounces back every single time. Updates come out. Oh, the game's dead. This is dog shit. What are you doing, Valve? Like, really? Are you kidding me? Nothing happens, bro. A week happens. A week goes by. People are still playing the game. Nobody's worried about the death of the game that people keep saying. Valve is, call me Valve pilled too, but I mean, there's a method to the madness. We don't see it because they're a very private organization. They have psychologists that work for them, but they know what they're doing. Like they have a whole plan and it's executed perfectly. It might not seem like that to us, but they damn well know what they're doing for sure.
It's the God works in mysterious ways, but it's just Valve. Gaben.
Yeah.
Gaben works in mysterious ways.
On his
You don't
Leviathan
always
yacht.
understand it, but it works, you know. I mean, a lot of things that could be nice, better, different, you know. Everyone's talking about all of these, like, we should have surf and bring back this and that, but what's the last time you played all of these mods? Everyone just plays competitive, right? That's why that is the focus. And diversity is important. I think that's also why Counter-Strike has this longevity, is because there are so many driving factors behind Counter-Strike, starting from, like, you know, people that play the game, the whole esports scene, all of the companies that exist in esports, ESL, Faceit, PGL, I mean HLTV as well. Like, all of us have a reason to push Counter-Strike forward, and our existence is pushing Counter-Strike forward. The whole skin stuff, which is not my expertise or interest in any way, there people enjoy that. People that have that want that to go forward. So I think all of this makes it not like fake propping it up, but like organically actually propping up and pushing Counter-Strike forward, which, you know, if a game comes out tomorrow and it is, I mean, there have probably been games that are better than Counter-Strike, but, you know, just because you're better doesn't mean you're going to succeed.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot more to it.
And the legacy of Counter-Strike, like over the past, 2 decades, I mean, you just look at the legacy of the game. I mean, I'm going to be so biased because Valve or Counter-Strike is the only game that I really play ever. Nothing touches it, man. I just don't see anything that touches it. Esports, the core game itself, the skins aspect, if you want to go that far, it's just a one of a kind. It really is. So joining the CS industry is a very it's a very niche type of, approach at getting a job compared to like going and handing an application in at, your local grocery store or whatever, just trying to get a local, like regular, quote unquote, normal person's job. So I always find it really interesting to hear about people that have made it so deep into the industry for so long. Like, how did you come up with the idea? Like, I could work in the CS space one day, and how did you actually like achieve that?
Yeah, I don't know when I don't know if I ever thought like, this could be a job. I think it more like happened before I thought it could work, if that makes sense. So I just, I mean, I started playing as I started getting more serious with the thing, getting into like watching esports and all of that. I had the drive. It's going to be a bit of a longer story, so, you know, bear with me here.
Yeah, go
I just
for
had
it.
the drive to like create to play tournaments like locally or something, see what's happening, because there you can play matchmaking, but it kind of feels really disconnected. And I always had like a knack for like community. I've been on forums for forever, like since I got a PC. I was always like active somewhere. So then I, through a friend who also played Counter-Strike before, he had a friend who had a site which is called Counter-Strike Croatia, and that site has been like dead for a few years. It was mostly source related, and that's where the Croatian scene was the strongest. It was never really strong, but whatever. And he was like, "Oh yeah, this guy has a site. You know, maybe we can reach out to him, see if there's some tournaments or something going on." And I was like, "Okay." So I got in touch with this guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, if you want to do something, we have a connection to, at the time, ESL Play was a thing, which is like there was that was before Faceit, I think, even existed or had a Counter-Strike thing. ESEA was a thing at the time, but ESL Play was also a platform to play tournaments and maybe a matchmaking. I'm not sure if the matchmaking even existed. It had the worst anti-cheat called ESL Wire. It was horrible. It made everyone's PC lag. Everyone hated it. It was the worst. But they're like, oh yeah, we kind of have the license for Croatian ESL Play, so we can do tournaments there. And that was a big thing, because now you can just go on Faceit and make a cup, right, with get servers for free. That wasn't a thing back then. You'd have to like host the servers, make a bracket, update all of these things. So that was like a cool thing. And he was like, okay, let's try to make some cups and like put it on the forum. Let's see, what's gonna happen. So he started there. I helped him put some stuff together. I was like, okay, now we did this, but no one knows that this is happening or what happened in the cup. So I was like, I'd like to write some news So he was like, okay, here's the WordPress access. You can write some stuff. So I started doing like reports from each cup, like a weekly cup or whatever. Put some screenshots together, results, like stats, who had the blah blah, wrote some stuff, got into the scene, got to know like which players have some like resume to them and stuff like that. And I made this like first one that I made, and one of the players that I, you know, at the time he was one of the best Croatian players, which doesn't mean anything realistically in the global scale, but for that time he just wrote like, whoa, this is insane, this is like the best thing I ever saw, like someone made a report with all of this stuff. And that comment gave me fuel for like 3 years of working on the local scene and doing everything from, we started with just like, online cups, news, then expanded to like, I don't know, a Steam group where we would like post stuff, Facebook, social media stuff starting to build there. Then after like a few years, we did our first LAN for 14. There was like an online portion with qualifiers and stuff like that. And then we had a LAN. We got like some internet cafe to like sponsor it, gave us some money. We got like maybe like €1,000 sponsorship from like a beer company.
Oh, okay.
Through Twitter, which I like. It was like such a. I mini scammed them, to be honest, in a way. Not really, but I was like, I tagged them on Twitter. I was like, oh, do you want to support Counter-Strike tournament? And then I asked everyone I knew to like go and comment on my comment, to be like to hype it up. Like it feels like an insane thing. So like 50 people replied. It's like, oh yeah, do this, blah blah. And the guy's like, okay, here's €1,000.
Damn, just
And
like that, eh?
that was like insane, insane sponsorship. I mean, we sent them, a pitch deck. This is like what we're streaming. This is where we're doing stuff. Put the logo on the stream, and all of these things. And that was it. It just worked. It was just a guy that was also on Twitter, so he was like, this is kind of a cool thing. It's new. So started there, and it was crazy. Like the amount of work that I put in, and me and this guy that had the site before, we just wasted money and time for years on this. Like every tournament, everything that we did, we'd end up in the red, like essentially. And we did this for a few years. But it was passion. It was pretty good. I don't know. Essentially continue doing that. Even some like weekly cups. I would, since we needed to stream, so I was like, okay, I want to stream, but my internet sucked. Like I couldn't stream on Twitch. So every like Sunday, I'd pack my PC, go to my brother's company, which was like a Sunday, so no one's there. So I'd set up my PC there, plug in, and then stream for like, I don't know, 6 hours or something.
Wow.
Pack it up, go back home, connect it in. And I did that for like a bit of a while, let's say, doing everything, OBS, casting, connecting to servers, banning people on Twitch, kind of like the whole shebang of
Wow.
of a mini production crew. Yeah, so I had a bit of experience in that, and this is while I was still in college.
You
Kind
did
of
all of
finishing
that while you
that.
were in college?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a weekend thing, It's
Damn.
not a full-time job.
You're a
And if it
hustler,
was,
man.
if it was a full-time job, it'd be a fucking shit job, considering I was just losing money, right? Um, but it was, everything was growing, like social media, Twitter, fucking Facebook, everything. Like there's some good signs. Try to get different deals. I mean, I was doing some writing for different sites at this time as well, and like trying all of these different things to make it work. And then finished college, and I was like, okay, now I need to get a real job. So I actually did the whole thing, putting together a CV. I did like computer engineering, so you know programming, but I also didn't really like programming, so I like applied for like a marketing job in a game development company. And I was doing some interviews there, and then the HLTV Twitter just posted like, oh, looking for a junior writer, and I had my whole CV ready already. I just like edited a bit of stuff, and my CV at this time had like 4 years of volunteer work for local Counter-Strike tournaments. I also did some like writing for eFrag. So I had some English as well. I had a shit ton of Croatian, everything that you could do. And I sent it in, and like the next day they just replied, okay, like send in a test article. So I sent in a test article, and they're like, "Oh, okay, this sounds okay. Let's have you on." I was like,
Wow.
"Okay, okay, cool." But it was like the pay was like so little, since it was just like a junior position. So I was still thinking of taking the job, and I almost took the job. I actually said yes, and I said to the HLTV guys, like, I was supposed to do like one event and then just bail out to go to like normal work. But the company that was supposed to hire me came back and was like, "Oh, actually, we can't offer you this. We're going to offer you something less." And I was just like, "Well, fuck you guys." You know what?
Yeah.
First of all, this is absolute shit. Secondly, I'll just fucking do this esports thing and see what happens. And then I went to the guys at HLTV. I was like, "Can I get paid more? Like, can I do this like for real?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we can do that. You should have just ask." I was like, "Okay, cool." It was a different time back then. It was a different time. So then I just like full try hearted into HLTV, like, and just started working. So in some ways, did I expect to work, and how did I get into it? It was kind of serendipitous, you would say, but also, if I didn't have the experience I had, probably maybe would be completely ignored my application. But it was somewhat lucky that I was on Twitter in the exact time that this tweet came out, and I literally sent the email or the application within like an hour
Wow.
it coming out. So yeah, that's a start. You can ask questions if you want.
That's just so like inspiring. I don't know, like just the fact that you were doing all the organizing and traveling to your brother's work to set up and make the stream happen. Like, dude, that's crazy. And then you end up, working for HLTV, and then now look at where you're at now. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, it's honestly, at the time, I got into HLTV, and then towards the end of the year, um, the girlfriend I was with at the time, we broke up, and she was like unhappy with stuff, and that was like, in retrospect, she was like not the highest priority. Counter Strike was number one for sure,
That's how
and
it
then
goes.
everything else, everything maybe like she maybe second, third, depending on the time. If there was school stuff, college stuff, then maybe third. So makes sense in hindsight why that would be like that. Like kind of sacrifice a lot of that relationship just to like do Counter Strike stuff for seemingly no gain. But what turned out great is like since she was like, "Oh, we need some time off, whatever," then I had nothing else to do than write articles for HLTV, which was a great start and a great look for me for my new employer, especially when like the top 20 rolled around, which is essentially at the time. I mean, it's the countdown. We start at number 20 every day, new article, whole story of the player. At the time, we did it with like 24 hours or 48 hours max because it was like super secretive, when you would get the information of who it is.
Okay.
So I just spent like 20 days. I did like 8 out of the 20 articles. I was just like, "Oh, who wants to do it?" I was like, "Yes, me." And I was just like workaholic mode fully.
That's how you do it, man.
And then people are like, "Okay, this guy kind of, he really wants to do this." But it's convenient in some ways that I had nothing else really to do. So I was just grinding it out.
Just focus all
And
your energy into the one your passion. And
yeah, look,
wow.
and now I'm here.
That's so awesome. And it's a shame that happened with your girlfriend at the time, because it's like, you got to think from their point of view. Like you're just playing video games, like that's your big thing, but they don't see the vision. You know what I
They
mean?
don't. Yeah, I mean, was there a vision? Not really.
You
I was
just
just
kind of
doing it
doing
because
it.
I wanted. Yeah, but then we got back together, and then we broke up again. So it is what it is. Some would
Yeah.
say.
And it sounds like it panned out for you in the long run anyway, in terms of your professional career. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Relationship wise as well. So Counter Strike. Long story short, but Counter Strike brought me to my current relationship. So it is what it is.
hell yeah, man. And at this point, I mean, you've got so much experience in a lot of different areas. Founding Adria, I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Yeah,
Adria, maybe?
yeah, yeah. See, yeah, Adria.
Adria, okay. being a head coach in Croatia, and then obviously what we just talked about with working with HLTV and everything. And, just in 2022, you got promoted to the head of operations. And I find this to be like incredibly fascinating because everybody knows how big HLTV is. 9 times out of 10. Oh, I wonder what happened with Monacy the other day. HLTV has the answer.
Yeah.
You just put in whatever you want. HLTV is the answer. It's huge. So I just want to know from your younger days of not that you're old now. I didn't mean to word it like that. I guess that was probably bad wording.
34,
Yeah.
not the youngest.
Yeah, but from years ago when you started out as a junior writer and you started taking all of these articles and you were in a workaholic type of mode. You fast forward and look at yourself now, like how does that feel to have come that far?
Feels pretty good. I think the way it happened to me, it's I have this like a view on life that I don't want to say you can accomplish anything, but I'm really frustrated when I see people that are like not trying harder to like fulfill their potential, because I think the world really doesn't teach you how hard it is to succeed and like how much effort you need to put into these things, because like it's always, I don't know, me growing up, I always believed like, oh, people are talented for stuff and then they're good at that and then that's it, and it really doesn't, no matter how much people like me say this, there's so much hard work behind every bit of success that you see for anyone. And I think that's also why I fell in love in Counter-Strike as a game, is because like I never did any like sports as in competitive sports or like trained. Like obviously played football, did PE, like it's not like I wasn't active, but I never went and had a coaching staff and did stuff like that growing up or played an instrument or whatever. And for me, Counter-Strike was the first time I realized if I just put in more time and like effort, I can just become better. There's nothing else really stopping you. Obviously, there is talent. Obviously, I will not go pro, but I started playing Counter-Strike. I was always dog shit. Like when I played like 1.6 in these, internet cafes, I played it and my brain was like, okay, this guy's killing me. He's better. That's it. That's how it's always going to be. But it's really not like that. So when I started playing Counter-Strike, I was like, oh, okay, you can train your aim. You can learn smokes. You can learn nades. You can learn these setups. And you can like win in anything using this same approach. So for me, that's just the thing that I understood first time in my life when I was like 24 playing like competitive in CSGO. Like that's the first time this came into my brain. And I think that's absolutely stupid that it took me that long. But it probably takes some people can live their whole lives without realizing they can just do stuff. You can literally just do things.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about this. Is like, did I expect to be in these positions? No. Did I do like formal training to be a head of operations? No. But you just like go through life, you learn stuff, you apply it, you see what suits you, what you enjoy, and then you like learn more, you fuck up, you fix it, you move forward. And that's kind of how it goes. So yeah, it's great. It's a great position to be in. It's great, like, to work and have a job that you actually enjoy,
Yeah.
and work on something you enjoy, because like this is not, I think that's a privilege that a lot of people don't have. And also now to be paid quite well wasn't always the case, for sure. Like I was, a lot of people that finished my college went and did like the most basic job, or getting paid more than me and working less and having like, chiller days. But I'm doing something that I love, so it was never about that. But now that's also good. I'm just pretty grateful to be in this position. I think it's just something I try to like pass on to people around me, is just like don't get stuck in shit situations for no reason. Like you can't just go and do stuff. It's not that complicated. I mean, it is, but it's not.
It's as complicated as you want to make it. I like to
Yeah.
feel, that one kind of about it. Like the thing is with Counter-Strike that, again, just kind of for me solidifies it as the best game of all time is, one, you can be a Counter-Strike player, and if you're passionate enough and have the vision like we were talking about, you can make that your job, which is absolutely absurd to think about. But, you know, maybe you're not good at writing, right? You can be a content creator. Maybe you have wicked talent in the server. You could be a pro player. Maybe you have a lot of money and want to contribute to the ecosystem of Counter-Strike. You could be a team owner. Like there's so many different avenues. So like it's kind of just appeals to everybody. Like I'm sure most people can relate to Counter-Strike, and like if you wanted to make something about Counter-Strike a job for you, if you had the heart and dedication and the drive to do it, like you could do it. And it's the
Yeah.
craziest concept.
Obviously not an easy task. I mean, any passion industry is going to be, hard to break through and not well paid, especially early on. Music, movies, whatever, anything that's a passion industry is going to be hard. Esports is the same, but in some ways it's like also so open. You can really do, especially in terms of like content stuff, you can do so many things because there are some like copyright things, but people are doing edits of frag movies. People are doing compilations, doing this and that, putting stuff together that if you're trying to do like an NFL thing, probably it's going to be just taken down off YouTube instantly, right?
Yeah.
Formula One, all of these things are like locking but in Counter-Strike, you go in a demo, all of these like stats guys, the amount of stats information that's freely accessible out there is insane. Like if you want to do the same thing in football, you need to pay a lot of money to get that data. That's not just out there for free. So it's quite an open field, and I think also from a playing perspective is something that was appealing to me. Is like you just join a server, no one knows who you are, how tall you are, how fast you are, none of the physical limitations of a real sport are there. Obviously, there are some things that make some people better and worse, but for the most part, if your goal is to be a global elite back in the day, like pretty much like most people can accomplish that if they put an effort to it. I mean, even players like, I think Roy is a player that came in super late into pro scene, like started playing CS and like kind of like me, 20 something, and went to a major and did all of these things, so
wow.
There's quite it's an open field to succeed.
For sure. And another thing that's coming up in the current time, it's November 22nd at the time of recording this. The HLTV Awards is right around the corner, and you're obviously dealing with that right now too. So again, I want to thank you for taking time away from dealing with that to come here and yap with me. That means a lot. The event, it always looks phenomenal. Like when you talk about like a professional event and an award ceremony and everything, like everything is just captured so great. Like, everybody's all in nice dresses and nice suits, and it's just the whole mood and the whole vibe of the whole thing is just like, it's just like super top tier.
Thank
like,
you.
yeah, for sure. No, it's the truth. Like, I just like to know, like, how is it getting some of the biggest names in esports as a whole, not even Counter-Strike, just esports period, getting everybody all in the same venue and handing out awards and everybody celebrating their achievements and like Counter-Strike together? Like what's that like in person?
Yeah, it's quite a crazy thing. I think I catch myself being like, what the fuck am I doing? How am I here? How is this all on me? I had this not realize it, but this moment recently when I was doing the Olafmeister video. I don't know if you saw it,
Yeah,
where we did
yeah.
the surprise with Get Right and Potty, and like I was like, I have Get Right and Potty in my phone. I have their numbers. I call them up. I hit them up, and they're like, "Yeah, let's do it." That's
Wow.
kind of a surreal thing to think about. Like 10 years ago, when I started watching CS, and I was like, "Oh, NIP, they're kind of sick. I'm kind of a fan of these guys." Get Right is a guy that like works a lot, it's not talented, but it's like that's his story. He was like, "This is the type of guy I can relate to." And now we're just mates, we're just having a
Dude.
beer in Stockholm. It was like, what is going
Wow.
on? So that's kind of, it's still sometimes kind of weird, but also never really let myself get too fanboy. I think that's important if you want to be in the industry, because like if you're a fanboy, then you can't be an equal in some ways. And I think I don't want to be someone who's like, oh, look at this guy, he's a clown here, just like asking for autographs or something, stuff like that. It's never been a thing I did. Always try to be just like, I think all of these people that are super famous, they also just want to be humans and people and
Yeah.
want to be seen as that. And that's the approach I always try to have. But it's been a wild journey since like the first one that we did, which is like just like a studio event in Copenhagen, just like kind of coming off of COVID. Um, it was just a project that was kind of handed to me out of the blue with like 2 maybe 3 months heads up. Is like,
Oh.
we want to do this, we want to do an award show, what can we do, put it together. I was
In
like,
just a couple
okay.
months, that's a huge task.
Yeah, it was quite wild, right? And so we tried to like get some people on the spot, like try to figure out what can we do. But especially because it was just like COVID was kind of ending, no one really wanted to travel, no one really wanted to do anything. So we did like an online show with Chad and Freya, and had some like production in Copenhagen in a studio. People that didn't really know Counter-Strike, I didn't really know how to put together a broadcast. Like obviously we did podcasts, we did live podcasts, so I know something about that. But to put together like a whole run of show and stuff, I wasn't really sure what to do, and I was like looking for support from people that didn't really know Counter-Strike. So there's a lot of back and forth there, and building graphics is like, we didn't really have people to do this, so like I was doing some stuff on my own.
Wow.
It was like it was kind of a mess, but we put something together. It was like it was a show. It was nice. I think the biggest thing that I figured out then was like when we got Freya and Chad on site with the production team, and we started talking, the amount of knowledge these people have to like how to make a show good, fuck, it just blew my mind. I was like, it really goes on under the radar how much they know and how much they carry the shows, especially in CS, which is more like lax, not like super like 7 producers in a production meeting. It's oftentimes it's just like they throw you out there and you need to make it work. And I was like, okay, these guys know what they're doing, so I can, for the future, I can like rely on their input. And then from that, we were like, okay, next year we need to have like a gala with like actual people attending. But it still took quite a while to like figure out, what's the budget, where can we do it, all of these things that I had no idea about, like scouting a venue, what is important, what are the times, how much can we pay for, booking flights. So like the first show that we did in Stockholm was just like all of the flights were booked by Bercho, who's our photographer, who also like he books flights for us internally. And I was
Okay.
just like, hey, now you're gonna have to book for like all of the players and stuff. You're gonna have to book all of these flights. And he was like, I'm gonna fuck something up. And I was like, you probably will, but we'll fix it. It is what it is. That was the most stressful one for sure. That was insane. I was, especially the last few months, I was just working. Like I'd wake up 7, 8, whatever, super stressed instantly, just have to get out of bed because you can't do anything, and just worked until like 10, 11, just constantly doing something, emailing people, messaging people, updating invite list, oh, this graphic, this backdrop, banner, all of these things. I was like so deep in this shit that I had no idea how much you need to work on an event for like 200 people. Like the goal was more, but we had like 200 people there. But it worked out. It was good. I actually vividly remember. I mean, the whole thing was Navi was pretty good that year. I don't know if they won Team of the Year. I think it was FaZe, but Simple was the Player of the Year ever knew, and they had like a lot of awards. And I was trying to get them to come, and there was like there were some like sponsor clashes, and they're maybe yes, maybe no. And they messaged me on like New Year's Eve at like 7, 8 p.m. and they're like, yeah, we're down. And so I'm messaging Bertro like, we need to book these flights ASAP. We need to book
Yeah.
them right now, because they said when you book a flight, it's like 95% the person's gonna come. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but if they have a flight, there's like a level of investment that most people will not say no to.
Yeah.
And we booked that, and yeah, they came. We got like 60-70% of winners on site, and it was great. It was great.
That's so awesome. I couldn't imagine that stress. You have no prior event to be like, okay, well, we did that and we tried that. That didn't work, so we're gonna change. You have nothing.
We're
Just
just like
build it.
full in the deep end, and you're like, oh, now you're working with a production company, and like, how much should we pay a production? How much should we pay for a venue? How much, tech stuff? How much does this cost? I think like one of the things I'm generally good at, and this is the only thing I ever say I'm good at, is like guesstimation. I think that's a super important thing for if you want to be in the role that I'm in, because you can't really know all of these things, but you need to know, okay, this number is ridiculous. There's no way I'm going to be paying this. And then you do more research, because you get so many inquiries, so many offers. If you're going to be spending, 3 days figuring out every offer, if it's fair or not, or like how much time I need for this, is going to you're never going to get anywhere. So a lot of it is just like eyeballing things and being like, oh, this is going to last like 30 minutes. This is going to be 5,000 euros. This is, we need this many people to fill in this, and it's going to look fine. And a lot of stuff like that. But it's also very rewarding after it happens.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's quite a rush. It's quite a rush of emotions.
Just the pressure just like releases from your shoulders, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Your journey in CS has gone pretty damn far up till right now, and I'm sure it's going to continue going far. But everyone knows, like, you hear horror stories in like Hollywood or like the music industry, like, oh, the industry, it's out to get you. Has the industry taught you anything, or is there anything that you've learned about the industry? Like, is it that kind of industry with Counter-Strike, or is it, would you think that it's probably different
Ooh.
than your typical industry, I guess?
I think it's similar. I think it's like it's people like everywhere, right? Maybe there's a bit more weirdos because it's like an online, thing. So thankfully I didn't have these experiences. I know from like other people, that had weird ass fans and like DMs and death threats and all these things, which is quite fucked up, to be honest.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's all the same stuff that everyone has in every job. People are sometimes rude, mean, jealous, fucking, yeah, all of these things, and you just have to deal with that. I think for the most part, you just need to ignore the noise a lot of the times and just do your own thing. I think that's the most important part of my learning. Is just like, really, most of it doesn't really matter. There's no point in engaging in. I mean, for people that live off of drama, for them it makes sense to engage in drama. If you don't live off of drama, then don't engage in the drama. That's kind of my approach. Obviously had some I would say, interactions in the Twitter sphere and similar in the past that were like a bit not pleasant. And then after some time you just realize, people can write whatever they want. But if you do your own thing and it's good, people just remember you for that and understand that the rest is just noise.
Yeah.
And you can't really stop that. I think that's my biggest thing. Just like, put your best foot forward and do that, and not get too sucked into stupid shit that's out there. And there's so much of it. There's so much of it.
Especially in Counter-Strike, like it's when the updates happen and it doesn't make any sense to us at first, and people just immediately they pull out their gun and they start shooting, bro. They just want to just start firing off at people, and I don't know, man. Like it really doesn't take much to be a good person and be nice to someone. The classic quote: "If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all." I don't know where that went in today's day and age.
I mean, it's fine to be, critical about things, but as we spoke, I think before we went live, it's just what all social media is now. Like, I made a stupid tweet the other day about like I was annoyed about my remote, and I noticed how Twitter fucking loved that. As soon as you write something like negative, it's like, I'm sharing this to everyone. It's on everyone's For You page. Just like people that I didn't interact with for like years replying to this, is like, why would they be seeing this? This is such a stupid offhand tweet I made at 9 a.m. because my remote doesn't have a mute button and it has so many other buttons I don't want to use. And I'm like, I'm doing the thing. I shouldn't be doing this thing. I can just keep this for myself, and that's it. I don't want to feed into that the stupid shit that is internet today.
Yeah.
Sometimes, so which is also kind of sad because I do want to engage with community. I think like stuff like this. That's why I'm here. Is like this is probably not people that watch this were gonna generally be interested and they're gonna get something out of it, and that's great. But like too often you make a tweet and then people that never don't know even who you are or like how you write about things or other things that you said in the past will take this one tweet and get like this is their only reference of you, and they be
Yeah.
like, oh, you said this about this guy. You like mustard? Why? What's wrong with ketchup? And that's like, and then you have like options like delete the app, go for a walk, write "fuck you, idiot," or I don't know what can you do really to situations like this. I was like, when I had like I would say like between 10 and like 1,000 and 10,000 followers, Twitter was fun because it was mostly like it would only show you to people that knew who you were. But now it's just like random. Whatever I tweet, there's always someone complaining about it. It's just like, what is the point of this? I
Yeah.
don't. I get one guide. I know that people make fun of Chad all the time for getting one guide on Twitter or in a chat, but it's I don't want to get one guy. I don't want any negative. Why would I have to have negative reaction? I just
Yeah.
wanna talk to people that are nice out there.
100%. And that's what I love so much about the major. Like going to Copenhagen was weird for me because I had never been to Europe at that point. But, everybody in your general area of where you're sitting, you can just spark up a conversation. At the end of the day, you're all there because you love what's being projected in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with Austin. So many people. And it's like when you get all of these people and you put them in one area and you just walk around and just start sparking up conversations, it's like, dude, this is Counter-Strike. You know what I mean? It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling.
I mean, that's a very enjoyable part of like going to events. I think Austin for me was the biggest in terms of like I kept getting stopped like to a insane degree. And I guess it just shows that like, mainly known through the podcast, which is more going to be for, English speaking audiences are going to watch people talk about Counter-Strike for 2 hours, right? Obviously happens in other places as well, but it was just so fun to talk to people and like hear about their experiences with Counter-Strike, what they like, what they dislike, ask them, what's your favorite episode and shit like that, what they like. It's really enjoyable. And the live podcast that we did there in Austin was insane. It was
Yeah,
it was so good. Mad crowd. So I enjoy that. It's a good vibe.
absolutely. So I have only a couple more questions left. This one might be a quick one. I don't know, but I always like picking people's brains. If you had to pick one single aspect of your current job, or maybe out of all of your jobs that you've ever had in relation to esports and Counter-Strike and
Yeah.
HLTV and all that, what is your favorite single part of any of your jobs that you've had? If you could pick one.
Ooh. Okay. Wow. That's a good one. I listened to a few podcasts. I didn't hear this question before,
I think I've asked
so
it a couple times.
yeah, it's a sneaky one. It's a sneaky one. I'm thinking. Okay, there's a few things. There's one thing that comes to mind because it only happened once, which I enjoyed a lot. It was during my coaching era, which you didn't speak about a lot. But TLDR, I'm not even that good at the game, but I managed to get involved with people that are like friends, and we played a lot of CS together. That are the best creation team, and they're like, we tried to put this project together. We made it. It's called Locastic. It was like based with a IT agency was sponsoring it. Also some friends and stuff like that. So I was kind of involved with the content, but mostly with the coaching. So I'd be on the server with them, talking to them, and we kind of became pretty decent. This is to this day still the best creation team that ever existed. We made some lands. We beat some like international teams online. At least we beat like Windigo in a best of one, which is like Bubble and the Bulgarians. And then we also played against what became crazy like Valiants. So like Hunter and Exa and these guys. We beat them online twice. Um, we want to say we kind of made them go international because the second time we beat them, they changed roster after that. It is because they were bad. That's why we beat them. But still, for us, it was crazy. Like Serbian CS is like so much ahead of Croatians, always been. So that was like an insane moment for us. And then we went to LAN, and it was the LAN finals and like a kind of like a how to say an expo, you know. So there was the LAN finals, and we went onto the stage, and there was like maybe 1,000 people there. It was like actually fully packed for our game because like it was in Croatia and we were playing against Valiants at the time. Um, they fucking owned the shit out of us on LAN, obviously. But that moment, like stepping up on that stage, was fucking insane. That was really good. And I would like to repeat that again. I don't know when that would happen, but it was that was a quite a unique one. So that was one. The second one is just, I think, everything about the awards that we're doing now, just the situation, like putting all of this together and being able to like shape Counter-Strike history and like build legacy of these people, especially with like the Hall of Fame and but also smaller awards like Anchor of the Year, IGL of the Year, and stuff like that that didn't exist before. I think that's a fantastic thing that we're building that's going to allow people in the future to do what I did when I got into Counter-Strike. Like I didn't watch 1.6 professionally, so I went back and I was like, okay, who are the best people at the time, to have those references, and also to elevate stuff that people before me did, like the whole top 20 obviously is Peter, who's still with us working on the stuff. It was his idea to start that, right? And he was doing that for so long. And that's why the HLT Awards make sense, because the top 20 already had the reputation. And I just built on top of that, expanding it into being a bigger thing. So I think stuff like that, and bring in like Gooseman,
Oh
the
yeah.
co-creator of Counter-Strike last year, is something that, first of all, I didn't even know how much people would care.
People
Honestly,
love him.
it was so easy to get him. Also, like I just messaged him on LinkedIn. He was like, "Oh, message me in like a month." I was like, "Okay, is it gonna be a no?" I messaged him and I was like, "He's like, oh yeah, sounds great. You can book my flight." I was like, we booked his flight. He came, super smooth, and people were like losing their shit.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those, you never know how people are gonna like. Do people care? He's not really with Valve anymore, so you know. But it was great, and like so many people are just like taking photos with him, like I was just watching like Zaiwu, Fallen, and like in a line waiting to take a picture with this guy. I was like, I guess we did something there. I guess I did something there. It was just fully my idea to do this. I reached out, I booked him, so I can take some responsibility for this.
Sure,
It
sure.
it was it was a sight to see. So I think those two things are like in my mind very like stand a big standout.
Without a doubt. And I mean, Gooseman, like, I could glaze Gooseman all day long, dude. Like, he's just so legit. I'll never forget. I was hunting him down to have him on the podcast. I couldn't get it. I couldn't message him on Twitter. I can't find this guy's email. What do I find? His fucking Reddit account. Sent him a message. 1 hour he got back to me. I looked for him for like 6 months. And he ended up coming on the podcast. We met up in at Austin, and he's just like, again, he's just like anyone else, bro. He's just like a cool guy that just so
Yeah.
happened to create this game that, 18,000 people were at Austin or whatever. 18,000 people are sitting here watching, and he's just a fan of everything. But it's weird because
Yeah.
he created it. He's just so awesome, dude, and so humble and just so
Super
caring.
humble, yeah.
Like
He was like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's surprising even. As I said, I think he was one of the easiest people to work with. He came to Belgrade. He was like, "Do you need anything from me? When do you need blah blah?" I was like, "I actually don't need anything. You just, we need you tomorrow. Come say a few words. Other than that, you just do your own thing, full chill." He's like, "Okay, cool." And yeah, I wish everyone was so easy,
oh my
if I'm
god.
completely honest.
Like, even just like we were just having a conversation because he signed my copy of Counter-Strike, and I gave him some stuff from the podcast and everything. And I was just like, this was your first time at a major? You've never been to a major?
Yeah,
He's like, yeah, this is my first time. I'm like, oh, that upsets me. Like, you should have been
yeah,
here way so long ago. You should have been to a major, but he went to a damn good one, so that counts for
yeah.
something.
It was a banger. Yeah.
Yeah. So, last question I got for you. 2026 is right around the corner. 2025 has been a crazy year. I feel like every single year, especially toward the end of the year, you reflect on the esports, Counter-Strike esports, and so much stuff changes. Like it just happens so fast. What are some predictions of what we could see going into 2026? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Ooh, let me see. Predictions for 2026. Okay, I mean, generally speaking, I feel like the game competitive side is in a pretty decent spot with like VRS and how it works. Obviously, things being tweaked all the time, but I think the understanding is there now. And when you look at the teams at the major, I think it's done its job for the most part. I think there will continue to be what is happening now with the major, with the whole like streaming, where you can stream, sponsors, different regulations. I think that's going to be an interesting thing that's going to affect how everything works, because the competitive side is obviously, the money is important. Obviously,
Sure.
a lot of TOs came out with huge announcements, which I'm not sure if they'll be able to like live out and deliver on. Some already canceled some events. I think there's going to be more of that, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be a bad thing. I think there's just going to be a continuation of the, how would I say, rejigging of what is possible, a little consolidation. I think that's the word of the scene. Some budgets are being smaller. We're not seeing, so there's some online broadcasts happening more often. I think is just necessary to keep the scene going in a healthy way and not living on imaginary budgets that are not going to be fulfilled, right? So I think there's going to be big headlines that are negative, like these guys are firing people, this guy's closing, this is going to be canceled. But I think overall it's going to be good for the health of the scene in the long term. This is kind of what I'm expecting to be a bit of a headline for next year.
Okay. And who you got winning the Budapest major? If you had to put your finger on one team,
uh
hard to say
I think
right
still
now.
I think Vitality still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Vitality, but I'm also feeling like a sneaky Falcons. Even though it doesn't make sense because they can't close out smaller tournaments, so why the major? But if things line up, I think they're definitely within reach of that. They've been really good consistently, and also really consistently shit in the worst moments.
Yeah.
And I think that has really overshadowed that they're generally good. They're generally really good, and obviously have insane players. Um, but they just need, that moment. And the question is, will they be able to break through, or will it be like another case of a team that's, a could have, should have been, and then, one or two more star players for Sonic.
Yeah. All right. So, for the last segment of the podcast, I always like to shine the spotlight over to the guest. I kind of just like to let the opportunity happen for if there's anything you want to promote, if there's any people you want to shout out, anything like that that you want to talk about as your final words on the show here. The spotlight's on you. You can take the floor.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, first of all, one of the things that also your question or two questions ago about like things I enjoy, I think the possibility to work with really cool, talented, and motivated people, which now I also have the possibility to go and reach out and be like, hey, do you want to work for HLTV? And finding some of these people recently, and even like 5-6 years ago when I started first, hiring guys like head of operations, that's been like such a joy and pleasure. I just want to thank everyone in the team that I work with, because I don't really, there's no one that I dislike, and that's great. It's great to go to work and not have to be like, fuck this guy again.
Yeah.
And shout out to my boss Martin as well. Great guy. So other than that, I think, yeah, HLTV Awards, fucking, great thing, love it. If you are in the industry doing something you'd like to attend, um, HLTV.org/awards, and just sign up. It's very quick. Don't undervalue yourself. give it a shot. If you'd like to attend, it's more likely that you're undervaluing yourself than overvaluing yourself. So, you know, just try out. Also, send me an email or a message if you're unsure. Just ask. We always are welcoming everyone to come and just celebrate Counter-Strike. That's the whole point of the thing. And Counter-Strike is not just the pro players, it is everyone that makes this thing happen, you know? So it is also about, you know, if you're a player manager, if you're a video editor, in whatever, you're more than welcome. It's the one day in the CS calendar when most people, 99% of people there, are not competing, are not doing anything. They're just there to like socialize and enjoy. And I think it's a unique experience. And a lot of people have FOMO from not going. So, you know, don't have that. Avoid the FOMO and attend. And yeah, if you want to do something in the industry, if you think you have something to offer, you're always free to reach out, email me or DM me. I try to respond as much as possible. We don't hire that many people, but I can at least give you maybe some guidance or whatever. I try to be open out there, give a helping hand to people that have, you know, the right mindset and mentality. That's it. Other than that, still also open to some analyst gigs. So if you want me, hit me up. I have some stuff coming next year as well, which is nice. Always enjoy that, but open for more.
That'll do it, boys. That's the episode, man. That's it. Professor, the GOAT. Shout out to everybody watching, man. This was a seriously really, really cool one-on-one to have. This has got to be my personal favorite podcast of the year. It was just crazy. I didn't even think it would be possible. I didn't think I would be able to accomplish such a thing, but we did it, and it's all because of Professor, so much love to him. Thank you, Professor, if you're watching this part here, even though we already talked on the podcast. Thank you very much, bro. Much appreciated. Next week is going to be the final podcast of the year, but it's not really the podcast. This was the final episode. Pretty much what we're going to be doing is kind of just recapping the year a little bit, kind of similar to what we did in 2024. Quick recap of the year, plans for next year. Yeah, if you guys have any questions for me, then we'll throw that in next week's episode too, man. You guys just ask whatever questions you'd like, and we'll try to answer them as best as we can. That's gonna be it. You guys do whatever you gotta do on the holiday season, but make sure you're being safe. I got some turkey to go eat, so I'm gonna head out. I gotta get on that. And yeah, man, I hope you guys have a great happy holidays, and we'll catch you guys next week before the year ends. We'll conclude the year, recap the year, and yeah, no, really cool stuff, man. Thank you all very, very much, and we'll catch you before 2026 next Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern. Till next time, everybody. Peace.